Hello, welcome. We are so excited to have you here with us today for our annual patient conference. Thank you for joining us. It's so amazing to look around this room and see new faces and familiar faces. So I'm going to kick it off actually today welcoming you and welcoming those that are online, because we are live streaming, with a little history lesson in a video.
As a child, I would have spots that would come and go.
First doctor said that I was allergic to the perfume I was using.
They thought eczema patches, dry skin, psoriasis. I've heard it all.
They gave me ointments and lotions and things. Of course, nothing really happened.
He told my mother this was something called vitiligo.
Who said that I had a scalp infection.
And he says, I don't know what that is, so I'm going to biopsy it. And I was horrified.
And got the diagnosis of cutaneous T-cell lymphoma.
I'd never heard of this disease, and he really didn't have much information.
There was no other information, there was no patient organization.
As a parent of a child that was just given a diagnosis of lymphoma was scary.
I think the most important thing was to not panic.
I thought, I will not live to see my kids graduate from college, to see them get married. I will not meet any of my grandkids. And I went into a spiral and said, you know, where do I go from here?
There was a lot of uncertainty, and it wasn't like other cancers.
There were no support groups out there for cutaneous lymphoma. Nobody knew what it was. The internet was just coming out, and I found out that there was a cancer support group online. It didn't make any sense to me. I couldn't identify. And I told the person who was running that, and she says, well, start your own group. And so I started the listserv.
My husband continued to look into anything he could find out about the disease. One day, he did discover the listserv, and it was a hallelujah. I had never talked or met anyone with my disease.
There were only about 10, 15 people on at the very beginning, and we started sharing information. And then one day I got this call. Hi, I'm Stuart Lesson. You don't know who I am, but you need to start a foundation.
I had heard through a colleague that Judy Jones, a patient with mycosis fungoides cutaneous lymphoma in Michigan, had a listserv. And at the time, listservs were the means by which people interacted. And it made me realize that, oh, great, patients are gathering together to, empower themselves. And then in the late 90s, we had started a clinical trial on a form of immunotherapy. And one of the people from the listserv called me in Philadelphia to ask me for details about the clinical trial to put on the listserv. So I used that opportunity to reach out to Judy Jones, who I'd never met, and I introduced myself, and I said, the field needs a patient advocacy group. It would be great to be able to establish a foundation to support patients and advocate for patients.
And I said, yes, I do know who you are, and what makes you think that I can start a foundation?
I was taking care of a patient. His name was Lee Allen Cohen, who subsequently died of Sézary syndrome, and a memorial fund was started in his memory. And his wife, Judy Shea, was very interested in doing more for the disease. So I met Judy Jones, and I knew Judy Shea, so I introduced the two Judys. Subsequently, the Lee Allen Cohen Memorial Fund became the initial financial support for the foundation. It's like we just jumped out of an airplane and said, let's go. We both were pretty uninformed.
I met with Dr. Lesson, and he introduced me to the dermatologists who were specialists in the field. Then I met Michael Young, who introduced me to the pharmaceutical part of it. Pharmaceutical companies really didn't talk to patients, and they didn't get the patient input. Michael Young put me in a position where I was sitting at the table.
So I arranged to have her speak at a plenary session of bio in Washington, D.C. We got her to the green room without her having any knowledge of the size of the group that she was going to speak to. And in the green room, she met the speaker who would follow her. And that was Francis Collins, the director of the NIH and a Nobel Prize winner. And then when I ushered her out onto the stage, she was gobsmacked by the fact that we had over 2,000 people in that room.
And I had no clue. And I was the warm-up for Francis Collins, who, unraveled the genome.
Judy did a beautiful job. She told her story in her own classic fashion and really helped initiate a much better understanding of how important the patient voice really is.
Well, once we had our pamphlet, we were able to get a lot of the physicians to put those in their offices.
Having the profession become aware that patients are representing themselves and want a seat at the table.
Then at some point we started quarterly newsletters, and then we had the website.
It began to develop patient education forums so people could meet other people with the disease.
And then at some point somebody had this wild idea to have this summit to bring all the doctors together.
So in 2009, the foundation organized a Cutaneous Lymphoma Summit that brought together national and international physician scientists to discuss the current state of cutaneous lymphomas and develop sort of an agenda roadmap for the future.
I think the summit was incredibly successful and really sort of put the foundation on the map and then put cutaneous T-cell lymphoma and cutaneous lymphomas on the map.
I think that really was the forerunner for what is now the World Congress of Cutaneous Lymphomas.
We supported the first quality of life research project with Dr. Marie-France Demier, and it was a collaboration with the clinical community and the foundation to gather what does it feel like to be a patient living with cutaneous lymphoma.
So the foundation was instrumental in funding it and instrumental in recruiting subjects for it. And it really is a perfect example of how patients can empower clinical research.
Being able to come up with money for a young investigator to specifically work on this disease was very important.
And then with some fundraising, the foundation was able to fund a newer program called the Clarions Awards, which was for more mid-career development that potentially would open up new doors for new advances.
In addition to the website, which we keep up to date with clinically vetted information, it's reviewed by the experts in the field. We're also offering webinars, live programs. You can come to an event. We have our annual 2-day patient conference. So we combine learning with community connection.
I would like to kind of give a plug for the patient networking groups. It's been a huge, huge success. We have people that attend the monthly meetings, and we have new people every month.
I mean, there were people who had, if not the exact same situation, similar situations, and we were able to actually talk about it with people who understood.
We have had the privilege to participate in opportunities to present the impact of living with cutaneous lymphoma to legislators and lawmakers, and to have our voice be heard. It's a lot of work, but it has a huge impact.
That alliance with physicians, with industry, and with medical institutions is something that we can all be proud of.
I really see us as the epicenter and then the deliverer.
So I was just Googling and the foundation came right up. They had great information there. I went to the Q&A for patients and it was very helpful just to hear everyone's advice.
It was certainly calming to get information we felt like we could trust.
And I found the patient forum, and I started reading it. That helped me to stop feeling sorry for myself.
As a parent, you try to take the burden off, or whatever burden you can take off of your child. And I think the foundation does that.
I've learned a lot about other people's struggles as well, and solutions. And it gives us a lot of encouragement.
It has shown people that they are not alone in the world. So even just that has been, I think, an incredible impact.
I am so excited watching where the foundation is now and where they're going in the future.
The growth that I've seen in the time that I've been on the board is just amazing to me. I cannot believe how many more people we are connecting. The medical community has grown and we've been right there with them. We provide the programs on the website where patients ask questions directly to the doctors.
The foundation now has over 7,000 patients. It's incredibly powerful and I'll say incredibly successful.
It has not just impacted the lives of patients, globally, but it has impacted the professional lives of physicians and trainees.
Because of this foundation, patients now have a place to go for accurate information.
That's where I found who I am with this disease.
Because of the foundation, I've made real connections.
I think without the foundation, Sabrina wouldn't feel as comfortable as she does.
And as a CARE supporter, I think I would feel a lot more isolated.
I would not be able to live well with cutaneous lymphoma myself.
Because of the foundation, people with cutaneous lymphoma have a voice.
And they feel that they have hope.
There are new patients being diagnosed with cutaneous lymphoma every day. And my hope is that someday we will come forward with a cure.
We did some good things, didn't we, guys?
So for as many times as I've tried to tell the story of the foundation and the history and why we're here and the legacy and the reason for the development of this organization, nothing can do it the way that the people who helped to develop and the people who are part of this community can. And because we have the rare opportunity to have one of our original founders here with us, if you wouldn't mind, Dr. Lessin, thank you. Thank you. We are so fortunate for the vision of Dr. Lessin and the hard work that he and Judy and Judith put into starting, and we are now in our 27th year, celebrated 25, all of our 26th year. We were very excited about it, to be here and continue growing. So I just wanted to take a moment to recognize that you were here with us today because it's such an honor always to have you. Thank you. So before I dive into a little bit more about kind of where we are today, a few housekeeping items. We are live streaming, so there are cameras here in the back. Mike does a brilliant job of navigating the settings and making sure that, you know, he's got the right shot. But you could potentially, if you walk in front of them, you could potentially end up being on camera. It's not a big deal from our perspective. We just wanted to make you aware. We also have a photographer here. Mark, thank you so much for being here to capture the event. So you may get a photo or two of yourself. And if it's something that you'd really prefer not, feel free to decline or let us know so that we can, you know, take appropriate measures. We are going to do a group photo, and I know we will mention it again as a reminder as we leave this afternoon for those people who are going to go on a walk with us. It's going to be downstairs in the lobby. We're going to gather, and it's going to be taking a shot from the balcony down to all of us in the lobby. Bathrooms, it's a thing for some of us anyways. For those who might need it, feel free to get up and go as you so choose. They are actually back down this hallway where the elevators are, to the left and then to the right. There is also, if you take the escalators down, at the bottom of the escalators, there's a second bathroom there, should you need it. And then, just out of respect for the others who will come after me, if you could silence your phones, put them on vibrate, because it's, you know, I'm always the person with my phone ringing and everybody kind of looks at me like, what? And it's like, oh, sheesh. So just a friendly reminder there. So I wanted to take a moment. We do have a couple of board members that are here with us today. This is our amazing board of directors. Rich and David here at this table are here with us today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule and for all the work that you do and all the board members do on behalf of our rare community. Our staff, we have almost all of us here with you, and they work tirelessly, not only to put on this conference, but every program, service, communication, one-on-one calls, everything that you can imagine that a patient would engage or a care partner would engage or an industry partner or somebody else in this room might engage with us. This is the team that is on the other end making it all happen. So I wanted to make sure that we acknowledge and recognize the hard work of the staff of the Cutaneous Lymphoma Foundation. If you have listened to any of our presentations or really kind of dove into information, you'll notice that we cross disciplines. Susan is frequently bringing this to light and has really helped us wrap our heads around why it's a little more complicated than some other diseases, is that we play in these three areas. We are a rare, right? So we are with the rare community. We're skin disease. Things happen on our skin that are unexplainable, get you to a dermatologist, and sometimes then you may also see a hematologist oncologist because you may have some blood involvement, right? So it's, who am I supposed to be seeing? What group do I belong to? We hear that a lot. We hear people say, I don't know where I belong. What is my community? And it's all three of them. And so we as the foundation connect in all three of these areas so that we are sure that you are also connected in all of these areas. So our strategic plan, we can boil it down to three things. We empower you. We empower the people that we're here to serve. We champion for all of you. We are out there advocating on your behalf. And we unite. We bring people together to ensure the best quality of life for people affected by cutaneous lymphomas. And with that, I'd like to do a little exercise if you'd humor me. It's going to require people standing. If you're not comfortable or you don't want to, that's totally okay, but we find that it's really good. We talk about community a lot and who is our community. If all the people living with cutaneous lymphoma or a care partner of somebody living with cutaneous lymphoma will please stand up, I would appreciate it. If all of the medical professionals that are in the room, and I know not everybody is here, but if all the medical professionals will please stand up. Anyone who's in industry who may be working tirelessly to come up with new therapies or already has a therapy or a treatment, will you please stand up? Will our staff and board stand, please? This room is filled with people who care. This room is filled with people who have a deep passion for people living with cutaneous lymphoma. This is a community. These are, at least related to your cutaneous lymphoma, these are your people. These are people at whatever point in their lives are here to assist, celebrate, and be with you. Thank you for humoring me and doing the exercise. I hope you realize the power of this room and the power of the people who share this room with you. Make sure that you spend time over the next couple of days engaging with each other, learning from one another, and being a community together. There are lots of different ways to connect with us virtually online. We definitely have many members of our community who aren't able to travel or be with us in the specific locations that we are. We are so grateful that people join us from afar. We have our website and our online networking groups and our Facebook groups, as well as all of our social media channels. We have lots more information related to ways that you can connect with us out on our table in the Get Involved and the information on the foundation, as well as our events. I know that you heard a lot in the video. I don't need to go into all of them, but if you have a need, reach out to one of the staff members and see if there's maybe a program that might be able to help and support you. We've been working tirelessly to create an international and global network, both for nurses as well as for patient organizations, so that we can serve people globally even better, making sure that all people affected by cutaneous lymphoma have the information and resources that they need. A few of our upcoming programs, we have answers from the experts every other month. If it's something that you're interested in having questions answered, those are all done online. We have monthly networking groups online as well, where patients and care partners alone are brought together to have their questions from each other answered. It's a great opportunity to connect with members of the community. And then next year's conference will be announced soon. I apologize, I don't have all the details of that yet, but we're really excited for what's to come next year in our conference, so stay tuned for more information on that. And in case you hadn't heard, on April 1st, we just launched Coffee and Community, a podcast, Cutaneous Lymphoma Conversations. The goal of our podcast is on a monthly basis to highlight a patient story. Our very first patient story is our very own Sheila Johnson, who's here with us today. So I hope that you'll take a listen. She has quite an amazing journey and an amazing story, and we are so grateful that you were our very first story to be featured. Thank you. You have probably heard that we put out surveys. We ask people to participate. Your voices matter in sharing data, gathering data, advancing policy. It helps in our ability to be able to give feedback to community members, folks often come to the foundation to help with, moving therapies forward, in developing things. They need to better understand patient experience. These are 2 projects. The Lymphoma Coalition is an every other year, Susan, is that correct? Every other year survey that goes out that gathers quite a bit of data, and we can extract ours. It's all lymphomas in the survey, but we can extract cutaneous lymphoma, and we can really do a lot through both the medical community as well as in industry by being able to represent a wide spectrum of the members of our community's voices and experiences in that data. So, which leads me to, if you have been out to our Get Involved table, which I hope that you will, we have 2 surveys that are currently open. And I'd be happy, Susan would be happy, or anyone else on the staff would be happy to give you a little more information. I don't want to spend too much time focused on it up here today, but these 2 surveys are currently active and they really need our participation. So please, if you are open to the idea of completing a survey on behalf and bringing your voice to the table on some of these issues, we really do appreciate your participation. And for those people online, please, we also need your participation. It isn't just the people in the room, it's all people with cutaneous lymphoma. So even if you're listening to this in a few days, this will be open and available, and we have links in its availability on our website as well. I put the slides in the wrong order, so I apologize. I realized that, but we can't do it alone, right? So I'm just going to reinforce it. We can't do it alone. We need your participation, whether it be in advocacy, bringing your voice to the table, showing up when we ask people to show up. This is your community. We've talked about that. We just showed it. This is your community. We really need you to be part of it. We cannot do it without you. Your help matters. It's an important part of us continuing to move on, are the people at the point at which it's right in your journey to come and be part of our journey. We also recently launched a marketplace, so for those people who love swag, if you are a swag person, you can join, or you can go to the marketplace, and we have lots of different options, and it continues to grow as we produce things for events, and when we're out, when we have additional stock, we put it up on the marketplace to make it available to anybody who may be interested in doing that. So there's a variety of items that are out there. All of the proceeds that are from anything that is sold on the marketplace goes right back into our programs and services. It's just turned back out to making sure that we can do the work that we do. We also have a abstract book that we put together, which is a little different from swag, but patient experience information and a book on quality of life that highlights Dr. Marie-France Demier's project in quality of life, and then also has some of our community members, current community members, highlighted in there as well. And so if it's something that you're interested in, that is also available on the marketplace. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank our industry partners. It is because of our donors and our industry partners that programs like this are able to happen. So thank you to all of you who have made sure that people affected by cutaneous lymphoma have the education and resources available to them that they need, and that we are able to go out and work on behalf of the community's voice. And a full list of acknowledgement of our board and our staff and our physicians and medical community and industry, and the list goes on, but most importantly, thank you to all the people who are sitting in this room for showing up for yourself and for others. We're stronger together, and we are a community.